talk to will say that they can have kids at 40, and maybe not 50s, but the push saying that you can have a child at any of these ages, it's bad for the kids. It's bad for the mothers. It's
Well,
like
what is bad? Well, that's super loaded. I mean, what do you
I mean,
mean by that?
if you believe in medicine, it's bad.
It has nothing to do. Medicine is probably probably the most backseat issue when it comes to health of your children, or like
it has 100% to do with medicine and science.
It's way behind things like stability of your household, security in your relationship, the position of both people.
Yeah. So when you talk about science, you go from math to physics to chemistry to biology, and then you jump up to like psychology and sociology. I stick it near. I go to biology and that's it. So I'm talking in a biological perspective. Having kids in your 40s is much worse than having them in your 30s.
We don't live in a biological perspective though. We live in a way more abstracted reality than that, right?
We live in a biological world.
But our biology. We don't. We live in a way more abstract. If we did, then type 1 diabetics would all be dead. Right? So that's not the world we live in.
We use biological tools via insulin and diabetes medications to prevent that. You can explain that through biology. You can't explain the way that insulin works through psychology or sociology or political theory.
Okay, so what about like child rearing, like raising a child? Is that all explained through biology?
There's some kind of intersection between biology and psychology when it comes to like, I think it's called like adverse childhood events. What I'm talking about is the age of the mother.
I don't think ACEs have anything to do with biology. I think ACEs have to do with the adverse effects that you experience growing up. So like whether you've been traumatized by parents, sexually assaulted, neglected, et cetera, stuff like that.
You take a variable being these adverse events and you look at the biological outcomes of it being diabetes, obesity, mental health issues, and it becomes a biological perspective.
Well, but I mean, theoretically, if we wanted to be reductive, we could reduce everything into like a chemical perspective or a physics perspective or math perspective. That just seems kind of like a weird way to do it.
You can, except for these upper level psych and social kind of things. We don't know enough.
Well, we don't know enough because those are the really hard questions to answer, right? Those are the hardest sciences to do. But I mean, like when we're talking about like child rearing, these are necessarily like psychological investigations. They're not like
don't conflate child rearing with the age of the mother at birth. Those are completely two separate issues.
Well, yeah, but if we're talking about like health of our children, very rarely are we just talking about like just the chances of birthing them successfully. Maybe if we lived in like sub-Saharan Africa, that's our primary concern. But in the Western world, I think we probably want to create like happy, healthy, successful children. And in that case, the age of the mother is probably not even close to the most relevant factor there.
Oh, we're talking about the wall is what we're talking about.
I mean, if you just want to talk about the existence of the fact that as women age, you're introducing like more potential health risks to a fetus, a lot of which can be tested for in the womb. I mean, like that's an undeniable fact. I just don't think it's a very interesting question when we talk about like the health and like success of children as they grow up.
Well, it's like you saying that, the tires of a car are somewhat important, but let's talk about the engine. Well, if your tires are blown out like a 30-year-old sorority girl's pussy, your car's not going to function.
Well, but that's the thing. If you want to talk about just a car moving, that's fine. But it sounds like you're talking about winning a race, in which case the tire is literally only going to be one part of the equation, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about that one part of the equation.
Okay, well, I mean, literally nobody denies that one part of the equation, though. What is the point of talking about it?
But you were just saying it's more about child rearing and socioeconomic or, these
Well, because it sounded like you were talking about like having like healthy, happy children. If you're talking about just like the health of a child at birth, then... That's somewhat biological, probably decently, yeah. Environment is still going to be important. The stress of the mother during pregnancy is important, whether or not she's taking any bad.
Yeah.
Well, her choice to take like an illegal substance or something, or some sort of substance that would harm the pregnancy, that's not biological. That's an environmental impact.
It has a biological effect on the kid.
Well, literally every single thing we do has a biological effect on us at the end of the day. Me shooting you in the head is a biological effect. Like
you're conflating that with like how to raise happy, healthy like 7-year-olds and how you talk to them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how old she is when she gives birth.
Okay, let's refocus. Wait, what are we talking? Okay, so we're just saying that when a woman is younger, she tends to have at birth a healthier child, all else equal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't think anybody would deny that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, host Lauren, what else do you want to talk about?
Yes, what's up? I want to go back to you talking. So like we were talking about how Undead Chronic doesn't believe in democracy earlier, and how he believes that women, how he believes that women create leftist societies. I don't doubt today women absolutely vote more Democrat. They absolutely vote more left wing. But the idea that women inherently are the creators of left-wing societies, I think, is disproven by history and the fact that there's been a ton of communist countries created when just men could vote, when they were the ones that were the deciding factor in where the course of politics was going. So I don't know what you want to say to that, Chronic, but I think it would be interesting to bring Destiny's thoughts in.
Well, also, real quick, can you, on
first,
Discord,
Destiny?
can you set your microphone to whatever your good mic is and not whatever abysmal mic it's set to right now?
Wait, are you talking about mine?
I am talking about yours.
What?
Okay, what did you...
see.
Oh, boy.
Is it set to a different mic?
It is.
You've
Okay.
been talking to me with a post-wall mic this whole time, and you didn't tell me?
Wait, I might be. I might just be output to. Oh my gosh! Yeah, I'm going through my headset. Oops. The worst.
Disrespect. I don't even know what to say.
Wait, why isn't it showing my proper mic here? Oh wait, found it. Is that better? Oh wait, no, not better.
Is this better?
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Genius. 2000 IQ.
Nice
Tech
job.
goddess.
And this is who you said should be voting, huh?
True.
Ah.
Okay, yeah, just restate your position on that, and I'm curious to hear Destiny's.
I don't think
thoughts.
that women created leftist societies. They're just more influenced to voting for more left-leaning positions. So men will typically create most of everything. And the men who are in charge, the men of power, which I'm sure all three of us dislike, like BlackRock, all the politicians, those people.
I don't know about that. Destiny's pretty cucked.
I love institutions, but go ahead.
You like Twitch? Didn't they ban you?
Yeah. Okay, sorry, let me amend that. I dislike the institutions that have personally scored me. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Yeah, of course I like institutions. It doesn't mean I have a perfect interaction or engagement with them all the time, but I've also gotten speeding tickets in the past too, but I largely support the cops, our boys in blue.
Oh, I can't stand those pigs. I
Nice.
hate them.
So where were we?
You actually
Didn't you
support-
just say? Wait, didn't you just say you're like a hardcore authoritarian?
Yeah, and I don't like current cops because they basically protect the left.
Okay, but what are the cops in your society gonna do?
Oh, my society, there's not Antifa threatening me.
What are you doing with the Antifa?
Well, they follow me to my house and they threaten me, and I can't do anything because if I do anything, the cops will show up and slap me or shoot me or put me in cuffs.
No, but the society that you set up and you want to live in, what do you do with the Antifa?
So I'm trying to.
Oh, like they're not even called Antifa; they're just called rebels. What do you do with the rebels? Maybe I'll just ship them to Canada. Honestly,
All right.
get some migrants.
All right. Okay, so you don't want to talk about repealing the 19th anymore. You don't want to
I
talk
can't.
about
I mean,
the
like,
of
I can't.
democracy.
I mean, I could talk about it, but like, it's never gonna happen. There'll be
Okay,
outright
right.
war
That's
before it
that's
happens.
all I wanted you to acknowledge when we were talking about it earlier. I'm like, we can have all
Oh,
these like
okay.
crazy hypothetical debates. And when I asked you like, which country would you point to as your model for the society you want to live in, and you're
Hmm.
like, I don't have one I can point to, then I'm like, okay, this is just like this one of these crazy hypothetical
like what-
debates,
what
which I don't
country
care
was it?
for as much.
It's like what country doesn't have, as I say, which country doesn't have the female vote? Then you'll look at a bunch of third world countries. Like, well, do you want to live in middle of nowhere, the Congo? Like,
Well, okay,
Okay,
actually,
right.
I'm curious. Actually, I'm gonna regret this. Philosophically, why do you think women make worse voters than men?
because they vote for the left.
No, give me something more than that. What do you mean by the left? Do you think they vote for welfare more often? Do you think they
They vote for immigration. They vote for more taxation. They vote for subsidies for themselves when they become single mothers and spawn out bastards.
Okay,
They
let's
vote for
well,
more
hold on,
lenient
let's
crime.
let's do one at a time. So,
Sure.
is immigration a woman issue? Is that something that women are big on? I thought like business owners and people supported immigration traditionally because of like cheaper labor and stuff.
Yeah, so you're saying the strong business owner men and the people in charge. That's not the majority of men.
Okay, you're saying most men support less immigration, but women support more. Is that even true? If we look at like polling data, does immigration come down on a gender line?
I know it could be that it's pretty even, but most men are feminists, so it doesn't matter to me.
If a
Most
man can be a
feminists
feminist, then
support
it sounds like
immigration.
your issue then isn't men or woman. It sounds like some like strain of thought that you have an issue with.
Train of thought, like immigration.
No.
No, like
Like
feminism.
feminism would be an ideology that a man or woman could have. So it's not like gender
Yeah, no,
essential. It's just like a
most-
certain thought. Like you could have a
most
society
men-
full of like feminist men, and I guess like red pill